Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Clickbait. We have my favorite little stand-in co-host today. We have Mike and Bibiana on the mic. What's up, guys?
Yes. Nothing much. Hey.
Today we have a really interesting episode. We actually have some tearjerker, should I say, Bachelor Nation breakdown pieces, as well as the Clickbait of the week about asking if you should unfollow your ex, which I really want to know Mike's input on this piece, because it's always nice to get a guy's perspective, because honey, I got a few things to say regarding that.
I got a story on that.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I do. But other than that, we have Hunter from Katie's season today on the episode, which I am so excited to have him talk to us. We saw a lot from Hunter this past week's in this episode, so it's going to be really fun. But let's get into the Bachelor Nation breakdown. First off, we have Katie shares a very personal story from her past.
Definitely so. And to all of our beautiful listeners out there, with all due respect, this is a trigger warning. This is an incredibly sensitive topic that we're going to be speaking on. If you watched with Katie, she was extremely brave, courageous, and beautiful with her words. And so was everyone else. So was all the gentlemen there also, minus Thomas. And I just want to say, for this conversation, for those of you out there that know someone and or you yourself have been through a situation like this, we're talking about consent. I encourage you to check out RAINN. That's RAINN.org. I have love for all of you out there, and we speak from the heart on this topic, and Katie did a wonderful job.
Absolutely. I just think that it was so beautiful of her to open up, especially when I don't think she herself was like prepared to open up about that story. I don't think that was something that she would have predicted it was going to happen on, especially on a group date, to be so vulnerable like that. But I feel like things always happen when they're supposed to. And honestly, I think it just made us all fall in love with Katie a little bit more.
We had her on Talking It Out on our podcast, and she, like you said, Tay, she wasn't expecting to talk. She wasn't anticipating to talk. But, the beautiful thing about her is she said everyone else was talking. So she wanted to be equal with them. And,
absolutely.
When you go on the show, at times it's almost like you have the lead and then you have the contestants, right? I love the fact that she made it an equal playing field, and leveled it. And that was just beautiful of her to do. Bibi, what were you going to say?
I think it's really interesting how she worded it, how she said it was a non-consensual experience, and then how she tried to rationalize by pursuing a relationship with this person.
Yeah.
One of the things that, this is a story that really hits close to home. And most of the times there's 51% of women, this is a study that shows that 51% of women find themselves in this type of situation or have an experience like this. Like their abuser is an intimate partner, and then 40% of women, it's from someone that they would consider an acquaintance. So, I think oftentimes we think that if it's a sexual assault, it has to be extremely aggressive or, you're extremely injured. But we're seeing more and more cases of women that it happens with people that are in your inner circle, in your surroundings, and people that you assume you're safe with.
Yeah.
So I think it was, and I'm a little bit shaky, but I think it was extremely brave of her to share something like this. And it's comforting to see women get more and more comfortable trying to find their healing through sharing their story. Kudos to her.
Of course, absolutely, because you just never know who you're going to impact. And I think that also can give somebody else strength, to really see that type of situation, realize that it wasn't essentially something that you have to continue to have resentment from yourself. You can move on from it, but also you're so loved by so many people around you, and I feel like if Katie didn't open up, I think that the guys still, would have been in love with her. But I feel like that just really allowed the guys to fall more in love with her and want to get to know her as a human being. And it just, I don't know, it made her seem very relatable.
You know what touched me so most was when Katie said she felt bad for being too drunk. And I'm 33 years old. I've been to quite a bit of parties, and a lot of people get drunk, and I don't think that we talk about that aspect. I don't think that, I feel that a lot of people that have been taken advantage of almost feel responsible in some regards. But I want everyone to know, and Katie to know as well, it wasn't your fault. You did nothing wrong. Like, you didn't take advantage of someone else. Someone else took advantage of you. So for all the listeners out there, I'm so happy that Katie spoke on that piece, because that's just something that it's almost like just the area that we don't talk about. It's almost a shameful thing to even say aloud, right? When it shouldn't be that way. And so I was really it was just admirable of her to speak on that. I love that.
I found a post that I thought was really well put together. And it said, rape culture is victim shaming a woman for being too drunk, then defending a man by saying his actions were influenced by alcohol.
That's the most asinine thing.
I think if you're going to hold a woman responsible for drinking too much, then you need to do the same for a man. Should also be held accountable.
Well, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I get, this is almost a trigger warning for me as well, because it's dumb. Like, if a person has too much to drink, what your ass should do is take their ass to bed.
Go home. Yeah.
Take them to bed, move their hair out the way so they could throw up in the toilet or whatever, but not like take advantage of that person. Like, that's what you do when someone has too much to drink. You know what I mean? Like, that, it's just, I hate that. It's absurd. It's absurd.
I think we've come a long way as a society in supporting women in these circumstances, but we still have a long way to go because it's been conditioned in us that you could have done more to protect yourself, or you put yourself in that situation. And the reality is that as much as we want to be able to, have as much fun as somebody else, it's not the reality we live in, and it's really sad to see people still being taken advantage. And I've heard within the last week, I've heard of 3 women with similar experiences.
Let me ask y'all this, because we asked Katie.
Yes. Wow.
I want to know from the two of you, and because we asked Katie this on our podcast, when y'all are out with your girls, like, is there a code that y'all have? Like, what are something that y'all do to stay safe? Because this is, sadly, guys really don't think about this, right? Like, what are some of the things that y'all do when you're with your people out having a good time?
I don't think none of us leave any girl behind, at least for me.
Yeah. It's like one.
Typically from my friend group, maybe just because at an older age, and maybe in college it was a little different, which I can't really remember either. But I don't think that we would ever let a girl go home with someone that we did not know. Like, that's just obviously not right. I actually was in one situation in college where I was with one of my girlfriends and we were out and about, and she was drinking not a little bit too much, I wouldn't say, but it's just, this guy just kept feeding her drinks and I was with her. So I always had my eye on her. But at one point she left, and I just remember, like, I need to find her. And I remember storming into this one house and literally banging on every single door and yelling and making a freaking ruckus. And all these guys are telling me to shut up and be quiet and blah, blah. Right. This girl broke her nails scratching on the wall, trying to like hit the wall because she was in that room with somebody. And thank God I heard her. And I did not freaking stop until I opened the door and I got her and I literally left. But it's just like, you just can't, like, after going through an experience like that, you just don't let any of your girlfriends leave without your sight. You know what I mean? And it's scary to have to go through that type of situation.
I can't even imagine. And then I think it was Katie who said on our pod, you can't even, like a mixed drink, we know to watch your drink. But she was saying that even the mixers have been spiked at times.
Yeah. I
was like, damn.
It's always so fun to take shots with people. Oh, this guy's going to buy me a drink. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. You can afford a $6 cocktail. I know it's very fun to have guys buy you drinks. It's not worth it.
Well, I still think a guy could buy you a drink. It's just your ass need to be there the whole time. You know what I mean? Like,
I get that, but I like it when a guy lets you order. You know what I mean? Like, if someone's like, oh yeah, get your own drink, whatever. That's very different than someone just being like, oh, hey, I got you drinks. and then you're taking it from them. Because that's typically what happens, especially when you're not thinking too much because you already had a little bit to drink.
Fair. You know, something I do that I never said aloud until right now. Every time I get let's say a drink, if it's just me and my lady or a shot or whatever, I always ask her, which one do you want? You know what I mean? Just because in the back of my head, I'm trying to make sure she feels as comfortable, right? And so I know that a woman should, you know, make sure her drinks are okay. So I'm always like, which one you want, babe? Like, left or right, it don't matter to me. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing in either one of them, but I want her to feel comfortable. And a part of that comfortability is making her, you know, be able to choose what she decides. But I also, you know, wanted to give a shout out to Michael A. You know, in that date that they had with Nick Vial. I would never wish upon my worst enemies what happened to Michael and his his late wife. It was so sad. It was heartbreaking. That was my favorite date I've ever seen from the Bachelor franchise.
But he went on the one-on-one, right? So he opened up in the one-on-one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I also thought it was really sweet how he asked her, "May I kiss you?" And I mean, body language is a big sign as well, but he was so sweet, and you can tell it took him a lot of courage. And I think it was really encouraging to see him and nice to see him be patient with sharing this information, you know, and we all know how stressful that environment can be. And like those 2 minutes you have with someone in a rose ceremony might be the last 2 minutes you have. And he was so thoughtful, and just his story. I mean, this was one of those episodes where I just found myself crying so many times because I was like, gosh, I'm an emotional mess.
No, but I think that's the beautiful part also about like this show. Like, I understand there is a lot of drama and there is a lot of, you know, stupid stuff that gets in the way, but also at the same time, there's like a lot of really beautiful stories. And that's really what is special is hearing these guys' stories and voices, and then having them be able to connect with the female and them being able to be vulnerable. I think that's what makes us fall in love with the show. It's not all this other shit, you know?
No, definitely so. And if anyone out there listening that wants to hear more of Michael's story, he's on Bachelor Happy Hour this week, so definitely check him out there. And check out his charity. It's freaking amazing. It's L4project.com, L4project.com.
Well, the guys did a phenomenal job. Katie did a phenomenal job. This episode was, well, except for Thomas. This episode.
Yeah, Thomas was tripping.
This episode, I don't know, it just really made me fall in love with a lot more of the guys. And I wasn't even there, so.
Can we speak on that for a second, please?
Yeah, which part?
Thomas is just a little cocky. He's too damn cocky for me.
It's not cocky to me. I read completely insecure.
And no, I'll give you that.
He's so insecure. Extremely insecure, man. I mean, I thought he was really cute, and that when he first came out of the limo, and I was like, wow, this guy is hot. And then as you've seen his character and like the little things that he's doing is just too quick for comfort. Yeah. Like he's making a lot of impulsive moves. There's something that he said, and you know, I know that we have Hunter on later, so I'd love to hear his take on this, but there was something that he said regarding like what he needed to do to get a rose tonight. And it was just very clear that that was his intention, just getting a rose, versus like, what do I need to do to speak to Katie tonight to really have her understand how I feel? It was more, there was an ulterior motive to that. And I get it. You know, there is that game component with this type of environment where it's like, if I don't get a rose and I go home too early, then I don't get enough time to actually experience, you know, some type of relationship with this woman. Right. So there's that added pressure, but man, you're already kind of, you know, showing
he's showing his true colors.
Yeah.
And you just have to pay attention to it.
How what he shared.
The dumbest shit.
We all were just
You know, it was really heartwarming to see the show take a different shift on a group date. Like we're all sitting down in a circle and we're getting real, and we're talking about real things and things that are important to us and things that are going to help us heal and open us and be vulnerable. This really new perspective. Yeah. And then comes this guy talking about how he went on the date the day before because, you know, he didn't know how he was going to feel about this girl.
That wasn't even the part for me. The bad part for me was, it was
The
just
platform.
him talking about, I have so much to tell you, but then say the shit, bro.
No, really though.
Like, say it. Like, you have so much to say, but you're not saying nothing at all. Like,
That's the biggest
that's
thing
what
you have
makes
to
a
talk
person
about.
worse. Like,
As a bachelor.
what is so much on your mind that you want to tell Katie, that you want to be vulnerable about, but you're not saying it? Like, what is that? That's
Why are you wasting your time talking about being the bachelor if like you have so much more to say and you have so much more to give to a relationship and you really want that girl and that's what's on your mind? No. I would be wanting to show her who I really am so that way she has no reason to doubt me.
facts.
People
And it's
are
not,
here.
oh, my bad. It's not like to me, I understand what you mean when you say gamify. It's not about that in my eyes though, because on every season, there's at least 10 great people, right?
Mm-hmm.
They just may not be all for you. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not about, because I hate when I talk to people, now, like, oh, did you win Hannah season? Did you not win? No, it's not about winning.
Winning, I hate that.
I hate that shit get to my everlasting nerve. You're not about winning, bro. This isn't no win, lose. This is, I found my love or I didn't. And he doesn't have that mindset. And so his ass need to go home.
You know what? I wish we could call like a lifeline when like you're in the bubble. You're like, Mike, come get this man. Come get this, like check this man.
I would love to.
That would actually be a really fun spin on it. Like being able to like call one person and be like, can you come check this person, please? Thanks.
Yeah. I want to hear
She
Hunter's
might send
thoughts
him
on that as
home
well.
early. Who knows? I was she completely won me over when she sent home Karl right away.
Karl needs I kept
I
thinking
didn't
about
think that was going to happen.
this boy.
Like, there's no way this dude's going home. There's
Like,
no way.
Look, low key, I want to go to Karl's a motivational speaker. I want to attend one of his speaking engagements.
Because that man can talk.
Yes.
That man can talk.
He had me thinking of Logan Paul when he was air punching. I was like, what are you doing, bro? Like, what are you doing? Like, you trying to fight one of the Paul brothers? Like, what is this going on? Like,
God. The last episode was a doozy, but we're going to get more into that when Hunter is here because he has some firsthand experience with all of it. So we'll dive into that with him. But the second Bachelor Nation breakdown that we have is Caitlin Bristow calling out those haters, specifically about her appearance.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think it's great and it's about time that some of these people get put in their place. Like you're always told, just ignore it. You're above that. Like, don't give these people attention, blah, blah, blah. But there's like a certain point where you're just like, okay, stop. Like, I'm human too. Enough is enough. Like, what makes you feel like you can talk to me the way that you're talking to me? Does it make you feel better to tweet that, to say that, to send that?
Twitter fingers.
Like, it's just, oh my God.
I love how people are always like, oh, it comes with a role. Like, what? So all of a sudden I'm not human. I don't have feelings.
No.
It's very interesting because I
that.
think all of us has experienced that to one extent or another, negativity with being on the show and people always giving their opinions. But when it comes to your physical appearance, it's none of your business, guys. I feel like if she feels good in her skin, if this is what she wants to do, I think she looks beautiful. People to say the crazy things that they're saying, it's insane to me. And I kudos to her for clapping back because, sometimes people think that not saying anything is the best thing. And it's like, no, like I am still a human being. And I love one of the fans tweeted, like, don't forget you won Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
You're happily engaged. Yeah. You have multiple businesses, successful ones. And, it's like, why we just live in this society where people just feel like you're not human. Like if they can diss you on the internet, it's like, it doesn't really matter.
My mindset, I'm the optimist, right? I try to be an optimist a lot of times. When I see stuff like that, when it happens to me individually, I get happy. That means I'm on the right track. That means I'm making my haters mad, baby. Yeah. I'm making my haters eat, baby. I'm still getting mine.
What is it saying?
I'm gonna keep going up.
Mindset.
Wait, what is that saying? You don't have haters.
Yeah.
You don't have any haters, you're not doing something right. Wrong. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
love me or hate me, it's still an obsession. That's all I have to say.
Exactly.
That always has been a motto for a very long time. So Caitlin, keep doing you. But all of us, all of y'all that are out there, if you do have haters, whatever, it's showing their insecurity way more than it's saying anything about you. For the third Bachelor Nation breakdown, we have Dean and Kaylin celebrating 2 years together.
Yes.
2 years together.
Congratulations, guys.
Yeah, congrats. Amazing.
You guys, they were together when we were on Paradise. Well,
Yeah.
right? Like they got
Kind of, yeah.
on our season.
Mhm.
It's so crazy to me.
Who would have thought that Dean would have settled down and 2 years later they have a house together, they have a dog. I think she was posting the other day that they wanted a cat. I don't know if they got a cat.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
traveling the world together.
I'm just happy for them. I wonder how many places they've been. That's all I want to ask. Like, bro, how many places
I
have y'all
know. I'm going to ask
That's
to
what I
crash
wanna
one of
know.
these vacations sometime soon because some of them look really, really fun.
been?
I mean, I can do without the hiking. I can do without the hiking. I don't need to.
All right, guys, we're getting straight into the clickbait of the week. And this week, it's all about should you unfollow your ex?
Mm-hmm.
So I read an article about Kanye West unfollowing Kim K and all the Kardashians and Jenners. And I'm super interested in hearing what you two think. What's the rule of thumb when you go through a breakup?
Mm-hmm.
If unfollowing your ex is the right thing to do, or is it petty? I have my own views, but Tayshia, you go first.
To be honest with you, I have to say I'm very proud of Kanye for doing that. Just
I
because
agree.
it's not, obviously, when you don't just date one person, you date the whole family. But there's like a lot
That's a lot.
in the Kardashian family. And they are very active on social media. So you are constantly seeing their information, their photos, their family on your Instagram. So I thought it was a really good thing for Kanye to do. It was very healthy on his regard. However, when it comes to me, if someone were to unfollow me first, I'd be very, very, very upset and sad about it. But I like to wait a little bit.
Well, now we have the whole feature where like you can mute someone.
But see, this is the thing. I feel like I just personally, me, myself, I don't like it when people are upset at me or like have an issue with me.
Mhm.
So if I were to break up a relationship, I would hope it would be amicable, like to the point where it's like we're on good terms. And I feel like sometimes when it's abrupt like that, it's like, okay, wait, so are you pissed at me? Or are you just doing it for your own healthy boundaries? Like I would have to know as to why.
Yeah. I feel like
That's
we
just
should
me
normalize
personally.
having this conversation when you're going through the breakup.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean-
let's talk about the things that don't really seem really important right now, but it might be triggering for one of us in the future. Like, are we going to continue to follow or are we going to unfollow? Do we take away pictures? Do we not remove pictures? Like, what's
the picture's a different game. That's a whole different
Yeah, that's a
conversation.
whole nother ball game.
That's a whole conversation.
Mike, what do you think? Are you unfollowing your ex or do you still follow any of your exes?
So I broke up with a young lady in February, and I asked her this question. I was like, "Are we going to be unfollowing each other or not?" She said, "No, we're going to be following each other still." So I said, "Okay." And then I did Daily Pop, and I was wearing the shoes that she had bought me for Christmas in my birthday, and I think she got pissed off at that. And then I did a music video with Natasha from Listen
I
to
saw
Your
that.
Heart, and it was a hot and steamy music video. And I think it triggered her. And so she was like, I'm unfollowing him. Right.
I mean, it triggered me and I've never been in a relationship with
You know what?
anybody.
I cannot with this. Why did it trigger you,
I'm
Bibi?
kidding.
I mean, honestly,
She said, I cannot.
like, I'm like, okay, it's so quick. I gotta buy a plane ticket for y'all. Like, what do you need? Like, how can I help this situation?
So what
Gosh,
happened? No,
dang
I'm
it.
curious. What happened? Did she then decide like, hey, I need to unfollow you because this is just too much?
Yeah,
Or-
it was too much for her.
Yeah.
And I understand it. I respect it.
yeah.
Like we have respect for one another. I think any person I've been with has respect for me as I have respect for them.
Right.
And so, we unfollow each other. Now, I have the ex that I was in love with, she follows me. And it's weird. That situation is weird. She got a whole dude and she'll try to hit me up and stuff still. And that's just a situation.
But
that's
like hit you up like what? Is it innocent? Like, hey, how are you? I
Yeah,
hope
baby,
you're
no,
well.
baby needs to
Like,
know what
how-
she's up against. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just want
Lay-
to know.
lay it
No, but
out.
seriously, there's some times where I've reached out to exes like, hey, I just thought about you. Like, hope everything's good. Like, what's going on? And it doesn't mean anything. I mean, just
Yeah.
one ex in particular. Everybody else I don't really care
Yeah.
about.
See, that's the thing. It's always that one person, so it does mean something.
Do you think?
Ooh,
Yeah.
Tayshia
Yeah.
has a great point
So-
right there. That was a great point. I like that, Tayshia.
I have mixed feelings because I have friends that end amicably and then they still follow one another. But here's my thing. I think what Kanye did was right. And I have to
agree.
agree with Tayshia, it could be extremely frustrating to have someone unfollow you first, but you can't control social media. So I first think it becomes like having an honest conversation with yourself. Like if I open social media and I see a post and they look happy, that could be triggering. Just the same way that your ex, Mike, sees you wearing the shoes that she gave you and you're out living your best life and then you're doing a music video. That's just stuff that, if you really want to move past the relationship, I don't think that you need to be keeping tabs on your ex at least until you're over them. Yeah. Like now I can follow an ex of mine or someone that I was with or dated and feel nothing but happiness for them if they've moved on. But in those recent months, maybe even up to a year, depending on how the relationship ended, I think it could be a little bit sketch. I
get that, but why follow their ass back if you already unfollowed them during the time of healing?
Or maybe just muting them.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
see, I hate the ghost follow. To me, that's BS.
Ghost? Oh,
like I follow
muting. I don't.
Tayshia is engaged. If she there was one picture I said, okay, Tayshia, right? Tayshia Adams to the stage or something like that. I said, I'll say that about like all my friends, right? If they I'm trying to show love. To me, ghost following is the dumbest thing ever. Like if I got a hot picture, tell me I'm looking good in my picture. You feel me?
Yeah. I get you.
What's ghost following?
Ghost following is like, let's say my roommate Connor puts up a really nice picture and you're like, I can't like it. I'm not gonna comment on it because someone's gonna think something. Then my thoughts are, why even follow this individual in the first place?
Yeah. I mean, I guess this is interesting because Instagram, social media, I think is just such a big topic for relationships. I mean, because to be honest with you, if you're half naked in a photo, there's obviously I have a fiance, there's nothing between us. I don't know, and Zach's very secure in himself. So if me commenting a fire thing on your photo, I don't think that would trigger him. But that's just our relationship. But I think in another relationship that can definitely be something that's oh, and Tayshia's supposed to be engaged, but she's over here commenting fire emojis on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's I understand the whole ghost follow, but I think that there are some certain rules.
I think that you could do it so let's say me, Bibi and I are together, right? And one of my lady friends posts her in a bikini. I'm not going to put the fire emoji. I would say something
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm that's just not what you do. I'm gonna get it. I'll probably like it if she's a friend, but I'm not putting a fire emoji because that's just not what you don't do in my opinion.
No.
That's
okay, can I ask you a question?
How you engage.
What about the eyes?
I definitely agree.
What about the eyes?
Hell no, that's damn near worse.
Listen to me. There is something that I hate that eye emoji so much. It is not okay.
I would never post the eyes on your picture because that's disrespectful to Zach. The eyes is oof. I see you, baby. What's up? No, that's disrespectful. You cannot do that. No.
Oof. That just gave a set. Let us go.
Acceptable
I hate that emoji.
Yeah, there's
for some odd reason.
And unacceptable emojis. Mm-hmm. If I put the eyes, no, that's worse than fire. That's the worst one.
I know.
If I do that,
I'm looking at you.
If I do that to Bibi, then matter of fact, I'm gonna do it right now.
Stop it! I can't.
I haven't even posted in the longest time.
I'm doing it right now.
You still looking fire in those photos, though. Look at. He's actually. Oh my god, I cannot.
Love to see it. She's dopamine hit of the day. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
So funny enough, with my last relationship, we didn't follow each other on social media at all.
Okay, wait. Do you find it attractive when some people aren't on social media?
Oh my gosh.
It's the most attractive thing.
I mean, I know that it's not realistic because a lot of us now use social media for work or whatever other reasons. But if I met a guy and he didn't have social media, it's jackpot. I don't have to worry about so much with you. I don't have to worry about who you follow, who's following you.
But but what if you were dating Mike? He's actively on social media. How would you feel about that?
We would just have to have a conversation about what our boundaries are with social media. And I think that Mike is mature enough and him and I kind of are on the same wavelength when it comes to just having really honest, upfront conversations. Mm-hmm. But that's not necessarily the case with everyone, when I first started my former partner, when we first started seeing each other, I didn't follow him. I mean, we never followed each other, but I also made it a rule for myself until I really know this guy, I'm not going to look for him on social media Because I
love that.
think we get this like twisted perception of who we think people are based off what they post. And to be honest with you, like sometimes it could be really cool stuff. And so you can be intimidated by it, or
Yeah.
it can be stuff that you're just like, ooh.
Ugh,
And
why would you do that?
That kind of sucks. You know what I mean? Like
Ugh.
some guys don't really know how to put
Yeah.
up their best picture on social media, you know? So, and then other guys have like beautiful girls following them and vice versa. So it's like, if you can just avoid social media for the first few months as you're seeing one another to really get to know this person outside of that, that would
I
be
agree.
pretty cool.
Very
Right.
interesting take.
Mhm.
Okay.
Before I went on the show,
Yeah.
my IG was like inactive for maybe like 18 months. Like I had not deleted it fully, but I think I deleted the app off my phone, but I still had an account, right? And I remember this one lady, I was like trying to holler at her or whatever. And she's like, what's your IG or whatever? I was like, I don't have IG. She was like, what's your Snapchat? I don't have Snapchat. What's your Twitter? I don't have Twitter. And she thought I was so weird. And I'm like, no, I don't need that stuff. Now, obviously,
Yeah,
you know,
I don't think that's weird at all.
we
I think it's
promote
great.
XYZ at this point in time.
Maybe
If I was
she's-
not in the position I am in now, I would not have social. Connor in my room and
Yeah.
I always talk about it. Always talk
Mhm.
about this. It would not be a thing.
Crazy. I think also though some women could be triggered like, what do you mean you don't have social media? What are you trying to hide? Like,
Yeah, it's
you
like
know
you're trying to
what
hide. I ain't trying to hide nothing. I'm just trying to live my damn life.
I mean? No, I think that's no. I love that. It's just good social media. Lord have mercy. Wait,
You said
Bibby, would
social
you
media.
unfollow or not?
So I would unfollow. Like my
Yeah.
last relationship, if I didn't already not follow him, I don't know if I said that right, then I would have probably unfollowed just because it's too much. You know?
Okay. Yeah, I hear you.
Completely get that.
I don't
All
want
right.
to see you having a good time going parasailing with your boys out in Punta Cana. You know what I mean? I don't need that.
All right, well, we definitely talked on that bit for a bit. I actually want to dive deeper into that. We're going to have to do a whole episode on just like social media etiquette. But for
Love
now,
that.
I just want to hear what Hunter has to say. I want to talk more about the show and Katie's season. Can we just get into that? So let's do it. Thank you for being here. This past episode, your vulnerability, man, and your openness and honesty of what you have done that may not have been like the most upstanding thing to do is appreciated. We need more of that. Like, what caused you to just say, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna be honest. This is what it is.
So I look at it as I knew that was a conversation I was going to have with Katie. I knew that was, you know, I mean, we're on a show that's focused on marriage and on getting married. And I think the number one red flags, if we were talking about red flags in marriage, divorce is obviously a pretty big one. So I knew that was something I was going to talk to her about. And I didn't look at this as a bad thing necessarily. I mean, I was shocked whenever I saw Nick and whenever he said what he said. But I looked at this as almost an opportunity for a free one-on-one. I mean, normally
That's good.
to have a conversation and to have her attention for 20 minutes straight or however long it is, you got to have a one-on-one. So I looked at this as I'm going to eliminate everybody else in the room. And I'm going to talk to Katie the way that I would have talked to her on our one-on-one, because that's the discussion that I had with her was the same one I would have had on that one-on-one. It's just Nick and the guys were around. So
Yeah. It's like
That
you
is
have a bunch of
definitely-
cameras around.
Yeah.
The right mentality to have. I mean, we were talking about it earlier, especially when you are trying to find marriage and you are trying to find that person. These are the conversations you need to be having. And yeah, it just so happens other guys were around, but at least you're getting her, you're letting her see who you are and you guys connect.
yeah, and I think it's important because that's something that I wanted. You know, if I were in her shoes and there was a guy that was a single dad or that was divorced, I'd want to know. That's the first thing I'd want to know. So I
Yeah.
just I try to put myself in her shoes as much as I can.
Love that. That's shows a lot about you. Happy Father's Day as well, man. I want to say.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thank
Oh my
you.
gosh.
Yeah, it was a
I
good one.
thought how you just jumped into it right away and really set the tone for everyone else. Like, all right, we're going to do this vulnerability thing. Let's just put it all out there. I mean, I have some notes, and as soon as you started talking, my eyes teared up. And I was like, wow, this is
Yeah.
where we're going.
I'm kind of used to that setting. We do that a lot, and I work a lot in mental health and in recovery. And when you're in the rooms with other addicts and you're talking about getting sober and recovery, you don't hold back. I mean, that's you put it all out there. So I'm really used to wearing my heart on my sleeve and telling my story without holding anything back, because the only way that you can really affect people is if you're having those real conversations and if you're being vulnerable. And I think that's what we need more of, is people to just come out of their shell, because everybody's going through something. Everybody's going through a battle, and hearing other people that have come through that battle and come out on the other side, I think that's what people need to hear.
Yeah. Are your kids watching the show?
No. My kids are 5 and 8, and I think that obviously they're gonna see it eventually, and I'm fine with that. I think one of the things for me was that I want to make sure that I don't sacrifice my character, because I know one day the kids are going to watch this, and I want them to be proud of their dad. But they're not watching it right now. I feel like that would. My daughter already asked too many really intricate questions that I can't answer. When I told her she asked about where I was going, and I tried to start telling her. I was like, well, there's going to be a lot of daddy's friends, and we're going to make friends, and there's going to be a girl, and we might go to dinners and go, maybe go on, go to the pool. And she's like, can I come? Trying to explain things to her around this is way too difficult right now.
No, it would have been difficult explaining the buck brawl from the previous episode to your daughter. Like, yeah, babe, me and a couple guys, we're going to be half naked in some mud.
Just rolling around.
Yeah, just
Daddy,
rolling around.
Why were you hugging that Canadian? Why was your shirt off?
Yeah. Talking about that, your kids watching one day, and we saw the conversation that you stated up to Thomas, this past episode. You were like the voice of the group. What made you even speak up to him?
So, what's interesting is that Thomas and I, we had a lot of conversations early on that were real. I looked at Thomas as a friend, and so originally, and during the episode, you see us sit down, and I try to talk with him one-on-one and tell him as a friend, hey man, like, I'm seeing this trajectory and it's not looking good, and I think you've got to change some stuff here. And I wanted to do that because I care about him. He's not a bad person. Thomas is not a bad person.
Gotcha.
And once he kind of told me all these things in that one-on-one conversation, and I put myself out there and I stood up for him with the other guys. Well, then I think what happened is he went and told a completely different story, and it got egg on my face. And at that point, you kind of see it, but I had to tell Thomas, look, now I've stood up for you, and you've mistaken my kindness for weakness, and now I look down. And at that point, I've got to separate myself from you. And I told Thomas, I said, look, man, as far as the show is concerned and our time here, like, I'm done with you. But afterward, I'm sure that we'll be able to be friends. We'll be able to talk this out. And I don't think Thomas is a bad person. I think, and you guys know this, in this situation, you're in a really weird set of circumstances, and your emotions will make you do things differently than you normally would. And that can be a really good thing, but it can also be a really bad thing. I think for Thomas, unfortunately, I think that he kind of acted out of character, and it didn't turn out well for him.
No.
I think it's really cool to see the guys as a collective come together and just all of you have this conversation and approach that person. Like, typically what we're used to seeing is he said, she said, and all these, individual conversations, and nobody's really nobody's getting together and, having a mature conversation and a mature approach to, hey, this isn't cool. And the way that you did that, I personally haven't seen that on the show before.
Yeah. I mean, I think
kudos to you. I think you did an incredible job with approaching him and just really saying, like, we're cool, but like not so much anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can't say it enough. The group of guys, and I know it's this way every season, but this group of guys I can't even explain the bond that I have with them. Some of the best people I know that I'll ever meet. We're going to be in each other's weddings. Our kids are going to know each other. I love these guys. And I think that there's a lot of us that we cared so much about Katie that it was more about Katie. It was more about, talking about this as a group rather than letting this gossip thing kind of take over, because that's when you don't know the truth. And I think if you bring it all out in the open and you have a conversation about it, that's when you find out the truth. And I think that's what we did. But, you're going to have to keep watching because you're going to have to keep watching because this only keeps going. It doesn't stop. This is not the first time it's happened, and it's not the last. I think for us, we just wanted to protect Katie. I know a lot of people think that's white knight and that's
what she's supposed to do, bro.
To show off, but it's not. You did
right.
We truly cared about Katie, and we were tired of seeing her like that.
Yeah, you did right. I like how Mike P as well was like, "Yo, this is how we as a unit feel." So you, Mike, y'all did a phenomenal job. Hunter, I have to ask, man.
Oh no,
what the hell is going on with Karl? Like, bro.
Honestly, I try to be diplomatic, but I don't know if I can. With Karl.
Do you think the environment just got to him?
It came out of nowhere, and here's the thing: I think, honestly,
we gotta have Karl.
He maybe at the beginning he had good intentions, but again, I think that he maybe wanted the spotlight. One thing about Karl is that he was very outspoken from day one. The first night, he was talking his head off, and I'm okay with that. Like, here's the thing.
He has the right career field. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a motivational speaker, but here's the thing. If you're going to be a motivational speaker, you've got to be able to motivate people.
You said it, not me.
Mic drop.
I mean, I'm all for people talking and being loud, but only if it's effective. And I think for him, it just wasn't effective. I don't have anything against Karl personally, because I didn't really interact that much with him. But that night was bizarre, and it was very frustrating. That was actually one of the best nights I had with Katie, which we didn't get to see all that, but it ruined it. And it ruined it for a lot of guys because they didn't even get to talk to her that night. So that was a weird thing. I can't back him up on that because I have no idea what was going on.
That I know some people like that from my season that ruined it from not being able to speak to the young lady. I wanted to ask you this, and warning, this may get cut, but now play again. I wanted to ask when we saw Greg speak to Katie, right? I had personally, since being on the show, I was triggered because I was like, you know what? I'm sure a bunch of other guys wanted to speak to her as well, but Greg was the one that was allowed to speak to her. Was that the case, or am I tripping, or what?
You know what? If I'm being completely honest, I didn't see him. I just saw that for the first time. I had no idea. I had no idea that he snuck off and did that. And here's the thing: what I've learned is that you've got to be really careful about going above and beyond, especially when other guys are not in that place in their relationship. And I feel like, Greg probably, given where he was at, maybe he had some liberties to be able to do that and do it quietly. I think that if someone else would have tried to do that, it may have been
Thomas.
Thomas. Karl. They're like, stop. Go back to where you came from. Now, I appreciate the honesty, man. Can we play a little game with you, if that's okay?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So we have it up already. I want, Tay, she's the leader of this. She's going to start us off right.
Okay. So we're going to play a game of this or that with Hunter. And we're going to give you an option, either this or that. And you have to choose your first choice immediately.
You're in trouble.
I know.
Of course, that's the point.
No, no.
It's fun and innocent. Nothing to worry about.
Yeah, it's innocent.
Yeah, okay. That's what they said on set.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so first thing that comes to mind. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. This is funny. Roses or rosé?
Roses.
TikTok or Instagram?
TikTok.
Really?
Really?
TikTok.
Wow.
I'm a TikTok
nice.
guy. You guys should know that.
That's not fair, man. You
Don't
have,
know
like,
that.
I'm going to
You
have
have,
to
like,
follow
two
you on
kids
TikTok now.
that know everything. They know like every trend.
Yeah, they probably help you with your TikToks.
Yeah, but I don't do a lot of the normal TikTok stuff. I don't do the dances or anything like that.
I got you.
What
What is your genre?
My genre is dad jokes, recovery, and dating, actually.
I love that.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice. Truth or dare?
Truth.
Quick. There we go.
Truth? All right.
Is
Okay.
it true? No, I ain't gonna ask it.
Okay. Podcast or radio?
Podcast.
Good answer.
Nicely done.
It was only one answer.
Low key or extra?
Extra.
Nice.
He said, "Nah." Are you a dog dad or are you a cat guy?
Dog, for sure.
Said it with his chest.
Katie wouldn't like to hear that, but
I was just about to say, I'm like, we're watching you right now on.
I'm like, I'm pretty
Katie's
sure you were obsessed with cats a couple of weeks ago, Hunter. Just
yeah, I mean,
He said, you gotta do what you gotta do.
kidding. Okay, let's call or text.
text.
80s or the 90s?
80s, for sure.
All right, shop online or shop in store?
Shop at the store.
Okay.
Same.
BuzzFeed or the New York Times?
BuzzFeed.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hunter, are you doing a rental house or a hotel?
Rental house.
Nice.
Nice.
Book
All
or
right. Go ahead.
book or movie?
Movie.
Ooh.
Airplane or boat?
Boat.
Nice. Pro
Same.
dating apps or against dating apps?
Oh, God.
Come on,
Uh,
Hunter.
Again.
There we go.
Against.
Yes.
Okay.
Really?
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Ask why.
I think that dating apps set us up for failure. They set you up to have a bunch of people to talk to, and it's almost like the opposite of accountability with dating.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that it has its pros and cons, but to me, I think that is what leads to ghosting. And if you just have all these people and all these options, and you don't really ever have a real connection with any of them.
Mhm.
So
It's almost like you can like be dating a girl and then she could be talking to like 20 other guys.
it's almost like it's almost like you were to go on a show. and
Yes.
There's a lot of people dating this one person, and you have no idea what the other.
I'm not down for that.
relationships are
We're not
like.
down for that.
At least on the show, you know.
Yes.
You know,
That's
when
the
you're getting
good thing about the
ghosted, you
show.
don't know.
At
You
least
just
I know
don't
where
know.
I. At least I know where I
Exactly.
stand.
You know what you're
somewhere.
up against. And
Right.
you know if you're going home or when your date's cut off, like you're prepared.
Yeah. I will say this though, at least with the apps, no one can walk in and end my date early.
Very true.
Yeah, that's true. I ain't gonna
For
let
the
you end my
most
date
part.
early. I'm just saying, Hunter. I'm just saying you ain't ending my date early. I'm gonna tell you to walk outside. I will tell you 3 times if need to.
Let me see. Okay. I really don't know if I want to know this information, but bath or shower?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dine in
I got
or
a little
delivery.
bit of Bennett in me. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
Do
Okay.
you?
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh my god.
That is. We did not know
Bubble
that.
bath,
Okay.
like, you have a whole ritual and like
Skincare
I
routine.
have some self-care routines, sure.
Okay.
Or do you
What
just
are
like to
they?
be in robes and stuff? Like what is it exactly?
So I'm not-
Loafers?
No, I'm not quite as extra as that.
Got it.
But I do enjoy, pampering myself a little bit.
What is your
Hey.
self-care routine? Let's hear it. I wanna
Nothing
hear it.
wrong with that.
So I like to do masks. I always do masks. I have 3 or 4 different moisturizers. I shave every part of my body, literally, like everything.
Bro, save me.
Uh, I don't like hair. I can't handle it. I can't
I
handle
love
it.
that.
Okay.
I love that. But
Okay.
also being a girl dad, you're going to have to do those masks at some point. So it's a good thing that you like them.
Yes,
Wait,
I've had to learn a lot just from having a daughter. So
do you shave your armpit hair as well?
I trim it. I only shave it like fully once every probably like month or so, but I trim it. I can't handle
What,
that.
every month? I've never in my life shaved my armpit. What? He said that like say it was so nonchalant.
Hey, if it makes you feel good,
Hey,
we
no,
love a good skincare routine.
I'm not hating against
I
it.
need to be clean. Like I don't. I feel like hair just makes things musky. I can't handle it.
He said, I can't
Megan
fucking
is
handle it.
very confused what is happening
said,
right
I
now.
can't-
Like, how are they?
So,
It took a
Hunter,
weird turn. That's
Hunter,
what happens.
you know the
with
question
gang.
I have to ask you. You know the question. This weekend when I see you, I'm asking this question.
God.
Just saying.
Mike, I cannot.
You know-
All right, we're moving on.
We'll talk.
Dine-in
We'll
or
talk about it this
delivery?
weekend.
Oh, God.
What was
Dine-in or
that?
delivery, Hunter? Which one?
Delivery.
Are you eating in or eating out?
Delivery.
Well, it depends on who I'm with, right?
Oh, if it's
Good
with the
question.
guys.
Or good point.
with the guys, delivery for sure. Yeah.
What if it's with the
And
girl?
with Katie?
With Katie, it's probably a picnic somewhere romantic.
Oh.
So you talked to Katie, huh?
With Katie, you
Cricket,
said.
cricket.
He said,
You
he's
said,
like, I
oh,
cannot,
look at his face.
Damn it.
I cannot confirm nor deny.
Hunter. Oh, God. We have
I
to have
cannot
another
confirm nor
conversation
deny.
after this.
Spoiler.
No spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
Okay. Damn, you
love
almost got him. That was good. Okay.
Athleisure wear or a little fancy?
Like, what does Katie like to wear?
Athleisure wear.
Oh, okay. I thought so.
I love that. That was a good one.
Okay. And last but not least, are you a summer guy? Like, is it a hot boy summer or is it winter is your thing?
Hot boy summer for sure.
Hot boy summer. All
By
right.
the-
He said
by
that
the
confidently.
pool.
He's like, a boy.
By the pool.
All right, Hunter, this was so fun. I'm so happy you were able to come on. You did a phenomenal job
Yes, man. I love
this
it.
past episode.
Love your
and
energy.
keeping you.
Love what you stand for.
Absolutely.
y'all.
You're
Y'all
respectful.
are-
You're fun. You're admirable. Just keep doing it.
Proud
I
of
can't
your
wait to see you.
sobriety. Keep doing
Yes.
you, Hunter.
I appreciate you guys so much. Y'all are all awesome. It was a good talk.
Can I just say, I love Hunter. Do you guys love Hunter?
He's amazing.
Adore
Hunter's
He
a
was
great guy.
such a sweetheart. I'm so happy he was able to come on the podcast today. He's a good one. So I just wanted to say thank you to all the listeners. And of course, thank you so much, Hunter, for being a part of this episode. It was so much fun. Make sure, as always, to subscribe and submit all of your burning questions. Check us out on social, like, comment, DM us. Find us on @ClickbaitBN on Instagram and @Bachelor Nation Pods on Facebook and Twitter.
Yes, absolutely. Like Tay said, share your stories with us. We really, truly want to hear it. I want to read every single last one of them. We want to know what clickbait you're looking at this week. Let us know. Be a part of the family. Subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Wondery app, or baby, wherever you listen to right now.